Hello, I'm Laura Rich Creek with Laura's Voice. Welcome to Laura Reads Foxed Books. Another suitor, another chaperone, another vacation from which Nancy returns to tell Bobby all about it. This is The Misdemeanors of Nancy, Episode 9, Chapter 9, A Touchdown. Chapter 9, A Touchdown. That, said Nancy, was the summer when I had only one proposal. The man who came often looked from the glowing fire to the glowing face. "Why did you go to a place where there was only one man?" he inquired drowsily. Nancy twinkled appreciatively. There is a distinct satisfaction in throwing bouquets to Nancy. She is an uncommonly good catcher, and artistic curves are never wasted upon her. "Bobby," she said with an admiration slightly exaggerated, "no one could have done better at such short notice. You are improving, but you must be very careful. If you keep on this way, you'll be getting subtle, and that wouldn't match your mouth and shoulders." She looked at him with a meditative tilt of her fluffy head. He was still blinking sleepily from the effect of the open fire. Nancy's face cleared. "It's mediumistic," she asserted with the triumphant air of one who solves a puzzling problem. "I've noticed that your finest efforts always occur when you are in the trance state. Bobby, your control is a scholar and a gentleman. I make him my compliments. I'd like to meet him in the flesh. Tell him I'm sorry he passed out before I had a chance at him." "My control is feminine," said Bobby with wide-awake emphasis. Nancy shook her head. "No. The quality of your trance compliments would suggest that. They are better than the ordinary masculine effort, but I suppose that is because they are purely subjective. One thing is sure, Bobby, no feminine control, no matter how far behind she had left her objectivity, would allow you to make the compliments to another woman. It's against nature." The man who came often forsook the big leather chair and stood before the fire. He loomed preternaturally big and broad-shouldered, outlined against the glow in the gathering twilight, and the small bundle of femininity looked up at him with a whimsical mixture of approval and protest. "Would you mind sitting down again?" she asked pathetically. "Some way or other you look so monumental, and I feel like such an atom. I don't like it. It disturbs my sense of values. I can't be disrespectful to you when you are up there. I'd as soon think of being impertinent to the pyramids. I can overlook mental and moral qualities, but sheer size awes me. That's why I hate going to the mountains. They snuff me out. I can't frivol before them. 6 months in the mountains would reduce me to abject, cringing humility. Do sit down, Bobby." Bobby subsided into the leather chair. He could see Nancy's face better from there, which may have accounted for his docility. "But about that summer?" he asked. Nancy sighed. "I struggled against mountains and Aunt Maria that summer. I might have defied the mountains. They weren't very big ones. But Aunt Maria! Mount Blanc is a molehill beside Aunt Maria." "She is rather a whale," assented Bobby cheerfully. "It isn't her avoirdupois," Nancy said grimly. "She does weigh 200 pounds, but that's a mere bagatelle. It's her moral force that towers, Bobby. Whale? Why, Aunt Maria would make the Leviathan look like a minnow. You'd understand what I mean if she had ever chaperoned you." "She left no room on the mountains for men?" "Exactly. There were men, oodles of them, but Aunt Maria obscured the view. I might as well have been in a nunnery. Now, I approve of chaperones, in a way." "Well, they are generally in the way," murmured Bobby, but Nancy ignored the interruption. "Chaperones have their uses," she went on. "So have the commandments. One must have something to break. One must have someone to elude."
"On the same principle, one feels an undying gratitude to guideposts," said Bobby. "They make it possible for one to choose the wrong road beyond shadow of a doubt. Are you so truly good, little woman, that you have to say things like that in order to ward off danger of immediate translation?"
He was smiling, but something in his tone made Nancy blush. There are times when the big, quiet man with the honest eyes makes her feel that she has been guilty of a crime against good taste. It isn't a comfortable sensation, and it moves her to detest Bobby cordially. At least she tells herself that it does. This time there was no ground for open resentment, so she overlooked the criticism implied. "Speaking of chaperones," she began.
"But I was speaking of guideposts," objected Bobby.
"It's quite the same thing," Nancy insisted airily. "Both persist in pointing out places to which they've never been. The giddier a chaperone has been, the more strenuous she is. The only really liberal chaperone I ever had was dear old Aunt Elizabeth, who was such a saint herself that she was tremendously optimistic about other people. Now they do say that Aunt Maria was a terror before she took on so much of the flesh that she couldn't travel fast enough to keep up with the world and the devil, but as a chaperone—" Nancy's pause was full of emphasis.
"I should think it would be easy to lose her," Bobby suggested. "She's too large a body to move rapidly."
Nancy's expression was tragic. "You don't know her. She's a contradiction of natural law. I used to believe that no one body could be in two places at one and the same time. That's a mistake. Aunt Maria can do it. I suppose it's because there is so much of her. With 50 more pounds, she would probably be ubiquitous. She chaperoned me only one summer. One was enough. I didn't choose her, even then. She offered herself up as a sacrifice to family welfare. You see, Reginald Cartwright had devoted himself to me for 3 months. The family dreamed dreams and saw visions. I've a very hopeful family, Bobby. Nothing really discourages them. Each season they forget last season's crushing blows and plan the furnishings for my townhouse and the arrangement of the staterooms on my yacht. Hope springs eternal in the parental breast. Aunt Maria believes in the townhouse and the yacht, but she isn't patient. She approved of Reggie. He had to go to Hamburg with his mother in June. Aunt Maria was convinced that if I didn't fly off at a tangent before he could return in September, we could launch the yacht before Christmas. So she chaperoned me. That was a great summer, Bobby. Aunt Maria won my undying hatred and my ardent admiration. She was noble. She has the endurance of the early martyrs. Fatty degeneration of the heart is what one has when one's heart swells abnormally, isn't it? Bobby sighed.
"There are other names for it," he said impressively, but ruined the effect by joining in Nancy's derisive grin.
"Aunt Maria has fatty degeneration of the conscience," the young woman announced positively. "She must have been uncommonly bad to be forced into such unnatural goodness now."
"Did she have a happy summer?"
Bobby asked doubtfully. Nancy twinkled. "I did my best for her. She wanted to reduce. I gave her the chance of a lifetime. I didn't stay in one place for 5 consecutive minutes. I wore myself to shreds. Tire Aunt Maria? Not a bit of it. She never left me, except when I was asleep, and I dare say she sat outside my door then. It was maddening at first. Later on it grew funny. Men came and men went, but Aunt Maria went on forever. Everyone was absorbingly interested. We were one of the attractions of the place. If the hotel keeper had had any soul, he would have lowered our rates and given us a commission on entertainment. Guests used to say at breakfast, "Well, what shall we do this morning? Drive, or row, or fish, or watch the chaperone?" When a new guest arrived, they showed him the bottomless lake and Baldhead Mountain and Aunt Maria. Every man who came set a lance at rest against her. It wasn't that I was attractive. The venturesome masculine spirit merely longed for conquest. It was like one of the nice old tales of chivalry and magic. One knight after another besieged the enchanted castle and fought the dragon. The plain was strewn with dead men's bones, Bobby. In a way, I was more popular than ever before, but I couldn't be vain over it. I understood that not my personal charm, but a desire to do up the dragon was what made men cry for me. Whenever a new man buckled on his armor, betting ran high. Everybody watched with undisguised glee. Teddy Winslow was so excited one morning when he thought his college chum was going to make a touchdown that he let off a Yale yell and spoiled the whole thing."
"How did you behave?" asked Bobby suspiciously.
"Like a cherub. There was no use in rebelling. And, after all, Aunt Maria was my aunt, you know, and I wouldn't enter the lists against her. I remained neutral. I was a shuttlecock. I didn't care what the battledores did with me. If a man could score by sheer Machiavellian strategy or heroism, I wouldn't lay a straw in his way. But I developed a positive pride in Aunt Maria. I wouldn't for worlds have interfered with one of her strategic moves. I really sympathized with her in her one defeat."
"Who was the man?"
Bobby inquired. He always shows a flattering interest in the heroes of Nancy's stories. She seldom gratifies it, save when the joke is on her. "You don't know him, Bobby. He was a Western man with a Harvard-Heidelberg lacquer. A really beautiful being. The sort of a man who always hears, 'Hail, the conquering hero comes,' playing inside of his head, and keeps step to it. He came, he saw, he conquered. Aunt Maria. He had only 2 weeks, and it took him 3 days to appreciate the situation. Then the blood of fighting ancestors rose. He's a relative of Farragut. He quoted 'Damn the torpedoes' and steamed ahead. Aunt Maria complimented him by taking a particular dislike to him. Oh, don't talk to me about Argus. He was a stone-blind deaf-mute compared with my guardian. The Western man and I golfed all day long. Aunt Maria carried a large green umbrella and a look of stolid endurance, and trudged over the links with me. She said she wouldn't interfere with my pleasures, but she knew her duty. I might have had an occasional tete-a-tete if I had danced, but the doctor had forbidden dancing that summer. You wouldn't believe that a man and a girl could be in the same hotel for 2 weeks and never have 5 minutes alone. Now would you, Bobby? The thing can happen. 10 days went by. 11. 12. Teddy told me that the Western man had bet him $100 to 50 that he would propose to me before leaving. Teddy wanted me to think of some little token of appreciation that he could buy with $10 of the 100 and present to Aunt Maria. The afternoon of the 12th day, we were all sitting on the terrace, and one of the gardeners killed a garter snake on the lawn below us. Aunt Maria turned green. Somebody ran for water, and somebody else offered smelling salts, and I patted her on the back. She revived after a while and apologized, said she was dreadfully ashamed, but that she had always felt that way about snakes. She wasn't afraid of anything else in the world, but the very sight of a snake terrified her beyond words and robbed her of every vestige of self-control. Then we talked of other things, but Aunt Maria was still pale, and I noticed that the Western man seemed quiet and thoughtful. After a while he got up and strolled off toward the golf grounds, and when we went for a drive a little later, I saw him sitting on a bunker and talking to Jimmy, my favorite caddy. The next morning Jimmy wasn't waiting for me as usual. I didn't see him all day, and I missed him. I adored Jimmy. He was 14 years old and had more freckles to a square inch of face than any other mortal I've ever seen. There wasn't room for many of them on his nose, for it was small and turned up in the most impertinent fashion, but they spread over his forehead and cheeks and neck and ran down in a deep V over his chest, where the 2 top shirt buttons were always missing. He had a shock of red hair, home cut, and he wore a scarlet golf cap with a big hole in the crown, through which a tuft of red hair waved wildly. His eyelashes and eyebrows were perfectly white. He was thin beyond all belief, and his bare legs and arms looked like pipe stems, but his mouth turned up at the corners in a most delightful way, and his eyes were the funniest, frankest, sauciest eyes ever put into a boy's head. I wanted to buy Jimmy. If Aunt Maria had, for a moment, suspected my real feeling for him, she wouldn't have had a restful moment. That was a long day without Jimmy.
"And the Western man?"
added Bobby. Nancy looked hurt. I wasn't interested in him. Still, one couldn't help wondering what had become of him, and why he had thrown up the fight just before the finish. Teddy said he had decided to send to Boston for fruit for Aunt Maria. She loves fruit, and the hotel keeper seemed prejudiced against it. She loves fruit, and the hotel keeper seemed prejudiced against it. At dinner, the Western man appeared, immaculate and in beaming good humor. I never saw a man less depressed by defeat. He did look a trifle tired, but he explained that he had been off for a long tramp. Jimmy had been showing him the country. He didn't try very hard to be with me. Evidently he had given in to the dragon, and intended accepting defeat like a gentleman. Aunt Maria was so gratified that she thawed to him. I saw her offer him her throat lozenges twice, and she smiled all evening. Just before we went upstairs, he asked me quite cheerfully if I would golf with him the next morning.
"I have to go at noon," he said. Aunt Maria almost looked sorry for him. "Aunt Maria should read more history," commented Bobby.
"She has a big steel engraving of Washington crossing the Delaware hanging over her bed," said Nancy. But she wasn't expecting a surprise in this siege. She was downstairs with her green umbrella when I went to breakfast the next morning. She and the Western man and I tripped merrily to the links. Jimmy joined us there. 3 buttons were gone from his shirt instead of the usual 2. His legs had a few extra scratches, and one trouser's leg was damaged beyond repair. But his eyes were dancing to ragtime. "I wish you knew Jimmy. He's very lovable."
"I'll look him up and study his methods," said the man who came often.
"It isn't method, it's personality," explained Nancy discouragingly. We started out for the first hole, the man and I in front, Aunt Maria a close second, and Jimmy ranging far afield. The man was most cheerful. I felt rather hurt by it. The occasion was a melancholy one. Last day, last game, parting at noon. No man with a taste for high art would have grinned like a Cheshire cat around 15 holes of a golf course. After the 14th drive, Jimmy developed a new propensity. He simply wouldn't go on ahead and watch the ball. He hung behind and dawdled around and showed an unnatural love for Aunt Maria's company and conversation. The man didn't seem to notice it, and when I complained, he only laughed and said Jimmy was a queer little cuss and fond of having his own way. Evidently nothing could disturb the creature's good nature. The 15th hole is the one farthest from the hotel, quite out of sight of the veranda and terrace. It is in a little patch of meadow ground, with the woods on one side of it and a low stone fence between it, and the hills sloping up toward the hotel. We approached and dropped both balls on the green. I took my putter, and Jimmy went back to Aunt Maria instead of standing by the hole. I glanced at him as he moved away and caught him giving the Western man one long, solemn wink. I noticed, too, that he was fumbling at the strap of the pocket in the caddy bag. I had put my clubs in the man's bag so that one caddy could carry for both of us. I gripped my putter and sized up the hole. Suddenly I heard a shriek behind me and whirled around. For one instant I saw Aunt Maria stand petrified by terror. A big black snake was writhing at her feet, and Jimmy was hitting at it heroically with a cleek. There was another wild shriek. Aunt Maria discovered her legs. So did we. She grabbed her skirts firmly on both sides and hoisted them with a fine disregard of conventional prejudice. Then she started for the hotel. You would never believe she could strike such a pace, Bobby. It was phenomenal. Her white stockings simply twinkled over the green. The umbrella was abandoned at the start. Her hat went at the end of the first 10-rod dash. She cleared the stone fence like a bird and flew on up the hill, letting off diminuendo shrieks as her breath gradually gave out. Jimmy ran after her, yelling as though the snake were in hot pursuit. They disappeared over the brow of the hill. My chaperone had altogether failed me. I was left to my fate.
Nancy paused. Bobby made no remark.
"I suppose," said Nancy reflectively after a rich silence, "I suppose a Western man never loses his fine direct simplicity and assurance, even when Harvard and Heidelberg have done their worst for him. On the whole, I believe I like it. It seems to relieve one of all responsibility in dealing with him. Now, a man born to Harvard or Heidelberg might make the fatal mistake of asking permission on starting discussion."
Bobby's underjaw suggested bad temper. Nancy's funny stories often affect him that way. She has reduced it to a science. "Of course he proposed?"
Nancy smiled sweetly. "Oh, yes, indeed. Very nicely. It would have been a pity to miss it. I didn't accept him. I had a mighty longing to do it, just in order to see how severe a shock Western nerve would stand. But I feared complications. We went back to the hotel most amicably. Jimmy met us on the steps. His grin was a thing to conjure with. "'Did you put in?" he asked. The Western man laughed.
"It was Miss Reynolds' hole, Jimmy."
He went away on the noon coach. Aunt Maria came down to see him off and found him so radiant that she lapsed into murky gloom. But she cheered up after Teddy led her aside and told her that the enemy had proposed and been refused. Teddy was in a position to know. Still, after a talk with Jimmy, his spirits soared superior to his misfortune. He even confided to me that he'd have given another $50 to see the Blacksnake loft Aunt Maria over the fence.
"Where's Cartwright now?"
Bobby asked irrelevantly. "Married. He fell a victim to an English widow just when Aunt Maria was in the thick of the fray. Pathetic, wasn't it?"
"No one keeps you from me when I'm away." Bobby's tone suggested distinct sulkiness. "I suppose you had all sorts of proposals while you were south this winter?"
11, Nancy announced promptly. Horrid awkward number, wasn't it? I couldn't make it 12 without encouraging the elevator boy's hopeless passion. Still, the season isn't over yet, and—
"Call it 12, Nancy."
Bobby was smiling again, but his eyes were in earnest. Nancy's little air of gratitude was touching. "Now that's sweet of you," she said effusively. "I'll feel so much more comfortable about the record. But, Bobby," she leaned toward him confidentially. Her lips and dimples were mocking, but there was a soft little light in her eyes. Bobby often wondered whether she looked at the other men so when she refused them. "Bobby," said the laughing lips, "you are very generous and very brave. Does it ever strike you that you are also very rash?" End of Chapter 9, A Touchdown.
There's not a whole lot of football in this chapter, but I'd say the Western man scored, even if Aunt Maria was the one running for the end zone. This has been The Misdemeanors of Nancy by Eleanor Hoyt, illustrated by Penryn Stanlaws. Original copyright 1902. This work is in the public domain. Text and production copyright 2025 by Laura E. Richcreek. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next, and last for this book and season, video. Be sure to join me, and don't forget about the enrichment notes video.